Welcome, everybody. I'm joined by Greg, and we are here to spoil a card from set 24, the new virtual set coming soon. So, Greg, welcome, man. I'm so happy to not be doing this alone and just talking to myself. I feel like a crazy person sometimes.
Yeah, happy to be here. Always happy to. This will be my first time spoiling something in a good way. So excited to be involved.
Okay, with no further ado, for the people that'll make it 30 seconds in, let's spoil this card. It is Zev in Rogue 2. So this is a deploy 6, forfeit 6, deploy -2 to Hoth. May add 1 pilot. Permanent pilot is Zev, who provides ability of 2, draws 1 battle destiny if not habitual. Otherwise, moves as a react, vehicle weapons deploy for free aboard. What do you think about this card, Greg?
Yeah, so this seems so, especially if you've got like a Hoth-based deck, this seems like a very nicely priced card for you, right? Because if you're going down a Hoth, it's coming down for 4, but you've got some nice stats here, right? It's got 6 power, it's very hard to hit, you're drawing a Battle Destiny, and you can move as a react. So I know we can talk in a minute about some like sort of more specific uses of this, but just like in terms of like the costs and the stats, this seems quite nice.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't love the card at first, and then I started thinking about like 4 costs for 6 power, and the land speed of 4 makes the react actually pretty relevant. You can basically just bop around anywhere you want. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah, that I mean, it feels like whether you're playing a Hoth deck or not, you can really go anywhere. Like you're rarely not going to be able to make it to another site.
Right. Okay, let's also talk about an errata that's happening. So they are changing Dash in Rogue 12 due to some kind of rulebook issues to this, which gets a nice little thematic new. This reminds me of Shadows of the Empire, the N64 game. The graphics are better on this. It just so basically they're taking out the Battle Destiny, get to choose 2, and adding in some weapons protection, crash landing, and a few other things to protect your other T-47s. So this is probably going to be a good combo with Zev. But let's talk a little bit about why you'd use this in the 2 use cases. So, Greg, you want to talk about the first one here with the new secret base, echo base operations, and echo base garrison?
Yeah, so if you're playing like an old school light side Hoth deck, you are playing something like careful planning, the virtual starting interrupt, and you're not using an objective, and you're just using these effects to get some really powerful stuff going on Hoth, right? So you'll get out something like a new secret base, which will let you pull cards with Echo in the title. One of which is Echo Base Operations, which is a super fun card. It deploys on the main power generators. And then at every system location, your deploy is -1, your force drains are +2, your total power is +3. So that's like a really powerful effect that a lot of people like to use. I think with these particular speeders, what it's going to work really nicely with is this Echo Base Garrison card, which your T-47s are immune to attrition less than 4 or less than 6 if the matching pilot is aboard. And I think both of those, even though the pilot's embedded, right, that counts as the matching
Yeah.
pilot. And so both of those are going to be immune to attrition less than 6 with this effect down. And once per turn, you can take some cards into hand, one of which is Zev, and Zev in the T-47 is going to count as a Zev. So you can actually pull that entire ship or the entire vehicle with Echo Base Garrison. So you get to pull it. It comes out. It's immune to attrition less than 6, and it's coming on Hoth. It's coming down for 4 and drawing a Battle Destiny, right, and reacting. So like when you've got it working with this effect, it looks like quite a powerful card.
Yeah, and I think those speeders are robust enough. Where I mean, they also protection from things like lightsabers, blasters, because they're enclosed. So that's kind of a nice little benefit as well. But with Echo Base operations, the whole game here is to try to get into space and drain them seriously. So you might just be able to have 4 speeders down, and they're just or 3 speeders down, and they're just like reacting back and forth. And it's actually pretty annoying to battle them.
Yeah. I don't play this deck myself, but that seems right that you don't have to control much on the ground, right? And with these speeders at a immune to attrition less than 6 and some good game texts, they're going to be tough to take down, right? And as you say, like you can't hit them with regular weapons. You need something that can take down vehicles.
Yeah. So kind of a fun little twist here to give this base or this deck a little bit of a buff. But there's
And these,
one.
by the way, should note all of these effects are old school Decipher effects. These are non-virtual cards. So if someone's like not, really heavy into virtual cards, some of these nice new virtual cards might be a nice, easy way to, to coordinate, to integrate with your Decipher era, decks here and effects.
No, that's absolutely right. And one little note as well, this is just like a nomenclature thing, but the deploy and first marker of a new secret base, deploy the main generators. Main generators and the first marker are the same thing. We had to double check this one, but like, they're the same card. So it just, they chose different language in different years when they put these out. All right, but let's get to the second use case, which is this objective. The Empire knows we're here. The whole game with this is to not have this flip. So for the remainder of the game, Hoth energy does not extend beyond first marker, which is the power generators. You can't deploy Ice Storm, which is an awesome card. Leia systems or character ability of greater than 4. So you're really, hamstrung there. You can't have OB, stuff like that. And then while this side up, your force are +1 at Hoth system. Your control phase, if you occupy 2 battleground markers, retrieve 1 force. So you're just trying to hold down Hoth. And then once your opponent gets there, you got to kick him off Hoth. So I think like that's the whole game, is to try to not get this flipped and just repel the Imperial assault and sort of hold Hoth and the first marker. I don't, besides the art, I don't love this objective. I think it's really hard to keep them off Hoth. And I don't know if this card is going to make this objective work. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played. I agree. The art is cool. Like there is a kind of, there's something interesting about this objective, which is like you've got a nice bonus on the 0 side, and you're trying to stay on that, and the opponent's trying to flip you in a sense to the 7 side and keep you on the 7 side, and then you're trying to clear them so that you can come back to the 0 side, and that seems like a kind of neat mechanic to me that I haven't like played with myself. I also just noticed that Echo-based Garrison is immune to Alter with this objective, which is nice, right? So that effect that lets you pull various cards and makes the speeders immune to attrition less than 6 is immune to Alter with this objective. So that's definitely fun. And I know there's a dark side like counter objective that's been made recently as well. AT-AT based dark side Hoth deck, and that kind of general deck has been popular for a while as well. So this seems like fun interaction. You can actually go back to Dash, by the way, the errata Dash. Up against a dark side deck, a dark side Hoth based deck, this new Dash seems really nice because of the sort of crash landing text, the high speed tactics text, and I guess weapons like AT-AT cannon. So for those of us who use the old Dash, this is kind of a loss because the new Dash is highly specific, and I like the text on the old Dash, I gotta say. But for those who are playing against, dark side Hoth-based decks, this Dash seems really nice. And actually, I don't know if you know the answer to this question. It says, unless this card hit other T-47s. Okay, here. I missed the here at first, and I thought it was just other T-47. So it's like, is this an across the board text? So it's other T-47s at the same side are kind of immune to this stuff.
Yeah. I kind of like the old Dash. This feels a little bit like a nerf because it feels kind of situational if you're running crash landing, high speed tactics, and weapon. Like no one runs vehicle weapons. I mean, kind of maybe some AT-AT cannons or something, but it feels a little situational. But breathing some life into this meta for the Christmas season, so it feels kind of nice and thematic there. Any kind of final thoughts on this card? We're gonna go back to Zev.
Yeah, I will say the Zev is nice. I mean, the Zev the Zev is nice because one, again, like the stats are good, but also I imagine if you're in a deck that with where you're kind of short on cards, or like you're having trouble figuring out how to fit all the cards you want in here, this Zev seems nice because you're saving yourself a separate speeder and the separate Zev that you got to put on the speeder. So you're getting one card in a certain sense for the price of 2, opening up a spot in your deck. So, this new Zev definitely seems more like general utility, whether in a Hoth, this kind of the new Hoth objective more generally, it's good for card efficiency here.
You're inspiring me to build a speeders deck. Maybe we'll do a virtual card speeders deck. This seems kind of fun. So, all right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Greg, thanks for coming to spoil a card with me.
Of
We'll be
course.
back with more videos, but that's all we have for now. See you later.